Okay, so picture this, a 4-cylinder turbo, 2-liter, K20, and a 6-speed manual front-wheel drive Honda. You instantly think, oh yeah, a Civic Type R. No, wrong. Dadmobile Type R. Doesn't have an LSD, is a smaller turbo than a Civic Type R. But let's hope that that helps out with the heat soak, because as some people that own the Type R and track them know, they get massive heat soak. Does this get heat soak?
No.
It doesn't get heat soak.
It is time to pedal dance.
Pedal dance.
Step 1, turn car on, power only, do not start car. Okay, we are in accessory mode.
Right.
Make sure parking brake is off.
Please depress the brake pedal to release the parking brake.
Push and hold brake pedal. Hold traction control button to turn off, then back on. Traction control off.
Somewhere down the abyss.
Turn on parking brake. Release brake pedal. Hold traction control button to turn off and then back on. Press and hold brake pedal. Hold traction control button to turn off and then back on.
Jesus.
Now, traction control is fully disabled. Yes, it is now flashing, which means that traction control is completely disabled and will not come on at all.
That wasn't so bad.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
Now we just have to never turn the car off.
I'm gonna jack up your settings so
Love
bad, I'm
that.
sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I'm sorry. Brandon is about 5 feet taller than me. Not inches, I said feet. Anyways, this is Brandon. We're in his 2018 Honda Accord Sport. Brandon is no stranger to the channel. He had his 1989 CRX DX.
Yep, rip in peace.
DX, rip it. It didn't die. It just it went to another forever home,
Yeah.
which was not Brandon's, because it was a rehoming issue with that poor guy. Brandon is a massive Honda nerd. He is a Honda encyclopedia. He did have at one point in time 3 Hondas. Now you have just 2.
Just 2.
Anyways, let's check it out. I am gotta recalculate my brain to drive a front-wheel drive car the way you drive a front-wheel drive car, which is not like a rear-wheel drive car. That's basically, oh great. Of course Matt's gonna come and try to big dick us right now.
Of course he is.
But yes, we've got the K20c4. So this is a Type R motor.
It has the same geometry.
It's the same geometry, right?
You can put Type R parts in it and they all fit.
We're sitting at 252 horsepower, 273 foot-pounds of torque.
On 87.
On 87? If you put 93 in there, what happens? Anything?
If you put 93 in there, it will dyno higher.
Really?
Yes.
Does it retune itself?
Yes.
That's super cool. Wow, this car handles really well. No, there is no rev match, correct?
There is no rev match.
Okay, cool. I can heel toe. Pedals are very nicely spaced apart. The pedals are actually really cool in this car. They're kind of chunky. I like chunky pedals. Wow, this car flies. Holy crap. And one of the coolest things, again, is we're not going to experience any heat soak like you would a Type R. So Brandon had a Type R for a short stint.
It was like 2 years.
But yeah, did you have that car for 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Brandon was an FK8 owner for 2 years, and he used to come out to track days, and we used to see him take a few laps. It was a little bit more than a few laps, but then
Covered in sweat.
Covered in sweat.
It is 100 degrees outside and I have the heater blasting.
Then he would pit and let his car sit with the hood pop, because it would just have heat soak and they would go into lit mode.
I'm sorry I can't hear you over the screaming all season.
We're on some all-season tires, but they're doing a really good job right now.
Tires.
These are factory tires, yes. They're not his Chinese 500 treadwear tires.
Well, they are that, but...
Are these stock pads?
Yeah, this is stock, this is factory
This is
everything.
factory everything. This is a huge delight.
This car does not have 20,000 miles on it.
This is an awesome delight. Like, the engine's punchy. It's got good power band. The handling, even on these all-season tires, is amazing. Wow. The back end's really nice and planted. It doesn't understeer. Like, well, for a front-wheel drive car, let's recalibrate that. No, I'm not. Even on all-season tires, we're not understeering. Wow, that is so cool. This car is a shocker. You would never know a family sedan Accord to be this good of a car. Holy crap. Wow, so turn in is really good. Mid corner's pretty good. If you start getting on it a little bit too earlier, of course, you're gonna kind of understeer just a little bit because these tires need a grip. Balance, it's very balanced, well balanced. I can't really upset the chassis too much. This is a lot of fun. All right, Matt's on my ass right now, so we might let him pass, I might not. The brakes on these cars have a lot of good modulation. Go on, you bastard. Go on. Go on. You damn kids and your BMWs, yeah.
Model BMWs.
253 horsepower versus, or 252, sorry, versus like
120.
maybe 120. Oh, we're getting some push.
We never stood a chance.
Now I'm just being an asshole, sorry. Brakes, great. Very good brakes. Very good power. Very good handling. This is a lot of fun. Of course, there's no LSD, correct?
No.
Yeah, no LSD. I mean, it's.
You can put it. This is the exact same gearbox that the Type R has.
Oh, so you can do a Type R LSD.
Yes.
That would change this car dramatically.
The only difference between this and the Type R gearbox is this has a longer 5th and 6th and a longer open final drive.
Oh, so you get good gas mileage in this guy. That's what you tell me.
Well, I mean, better than a Type R. It still gets like high 20s to the Type R's like low 20s.
Suspension is not too floaty. There's a good amount of lean, which you can catch that lean, take it into a corner, and be totally confident. I mean, it's just such a good planted car. We're gonna start cooling it down a little bit. These brakes are getting just a little tad wobbly. They're fine. But
how's that temperature gauge looking?
Temperature gauge is looking great.
Oh, wild!
Wow!
Wild!
Wow! What? And an FK8, we would have already been pitted and on lit mode.
We probably wouldn't be there yet. We would be flirting with it.
We're being facetious, of course.
We're not being that facetious.
I am pleasantly surprised with this car.
I know, it's great.
Did you know that Road and Track back in I think 2017 or 18? They did a lightning lap at VIR, and this was like a 2.2 faster than the BRZ at that time.
Yeah, dude, this car rules.
That's crazy. On all-season tires.
Yeah.
That's like... So, how hard is it to find a 6-speed manual Honda Accord?
Oh, it is impossible. I went to Lawton, Oklahoma for this car.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there. Sorry to all my Oklahoma people.
Because there were like 3 for sale in all of Texas, and 2 of those were on Vroom, which is not a real option.
No.
And then the other one had been in a flood and was in Houston. And so I flew into Lawton, Oklahoma. They picked me up, and I drove this car back, and I paid like $800 less than MSRP in August 2021. So it is not unreasonable to think that the original owner paid less for this car than I did.
Oh yeah.
Because he got it, 2018.
In this economy?
In this economy?
Yeah.
It is very, very, very hard to find a manual 2-liter because the manuals only come on the sport trim, and there are way more 1.5 sports than there are 2-liter sports.
Right. Yeah. 2-liter sport. This is more of a unicorn, and I'm not really sure what justified Mazda to make this, but I'm super happy they
Honda?
did. Sorry. I'm not sure what. My bad. Sorry, they're thinking about Mazdas for some reason. I don't know why. They're not even my favorite Japanese car company. I don't know what happened with Honda to justify making this specific setup, but this is a phenomenal car.
Yeah, man, it's great.
This is so much fun. I had a really good time.
2021 was the last year with the manual. So New ones do not have the
So you're not going to get rid of this car for a while?
No.
Is what you're telling me.
I am not.
And it's blue.
And it's blue.
We know that Brandon loves blue.
And dear reader, notice how it is blue. It is all blue. Everything is blue. The seats are blue, the carpet is blue, the dashboard is blue, the doors are blue, the outside is blue.
If it was green, we'd probably die, so that's right.
It's a great car. I love it.
Cool, man. Let's fucking put it on the tier list.
Let's do it. Tier list.
Tier list!
Hey, welcome back to the tier list. Let's talk about the Accord Sport, otherwise known as the CV2 chassis. It's powered by a K20c4, which is different than the K20c1 you find at the Honda Civic Type R. The K20c4 has 252 horsepower and 273 foot-pounds of torque. The weight of the CV2 is around 3,290 pounds, and the wheelbase is 111.4 inches. The weight distribution of the CV2 chassis is 58.9% in the front and 41.1% in the rear. Wow, talk about a front-heavy car. The 0 to 60 time is around 5.4 seconds, and the quarter-mile time is about a 14-second flat, which is very good. The CV2 pulled a 0.87 lateral G on all-season tires. That's very good. Let's talk about the drivetrain. I'm going to first start with the clutch and the transmission. It was very forgettable. Clutch was fine. The transmission itself did not feel super notchy. It was there. It wasn't super wiggly, but it wasn't super tight either. The K20c4 in this car was very solid. Not a whole lot of character, but it was a very good motor. The smaller turbo than the Civic Type R made for minimal turbo lag. Once it was in the boost, redline seemed to approach a lot faster than I'm used to in a Honda. What I mean by that is the redline stops at 6,500 RPM. Typically, in naturally aspirated Hondas, that redline goes around 7,000 plus RPM. So it was really interesting to feel the redline approach a lot quicker than I'm used to in a Honda. But hey, what can you do? You got to make a turbo 4-cylinder reliable somehow, right? I'd say with another 500 to 1,000 RPM, this engine would be an absolute screamer. I'm sure there are some tuners that have already done this before. I haven't done any research, but that would be pretty awesome. Moving on to the CV2 chassis itself, it was a very stout, solid chassis. Not a whole lot of clunkiness going on at all. I felt the front end and the rear end very well in corners under braking. The front end grip is really nice despite being extremely heavy up there. There wasn't a whole lot of push and a whole lot of understeer. Only mid-corner if you started throttling through the corner itself. Steering feel was pretty decent. I would say it wasn't super responsive, but it wasn't too light. It's just kind of there. You definitely knew what the front tires were doing whenever you were torque steering through a corner. Initial turn-in was a big shocker on this car. I expected a lot of push initially in the turn-in off braking, but it rotated really nicely into the corner, took a set, and planted very well through the corner. Speaking of brakes, the brakes were fantastic. I couldn't believe that they were stock. Stock everything. Stock fluid, stock pads, stock rotors. Overall, I'd say that the Accord Sport was a big shocker of a car for me. I was not expecting to have so much fun in a front-wheel drive family sedan that's in a compact class. It just really spoke to me on levels I didn't think Accord could do. And I mean that in the nicest way. This is actually a very good car by Honda. It is going to be a tuning hotbed someday. For those that want a little bit more amenity than the Civic Type R and a little bit more understated, you can get some grippier tires, a little bit of a bite of your brake if you wanted to, and call yourself good. Onto the tier placement itself, we are not going to be an F tier, which is a new category for us now. We're actually going to put this right behind the i4 M50 into B tier. This is a very fun car, very predictable, very planted, extremely easy to drive. So go ahead, Honda boys, get those red Type R badges, go ahead and slap them on there. Do you feel like this tier list placement is justified? Let me know in the comments. If you made it this far, thank you so much for getting this far. I hope I earned your subscription. Like the video, comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
This is a 2017 Honda Accord.
This?
Show me your YouTuber face.
This